my story. And the last year that I was using, I found myself speedballing, being evicted from where I was living at, sold my car to the dope man, had my nose broken by a crack dealer, was flying the sign at the Walmart over on Capitol, and we stayed a few times at the U-Haul center that's over there. A buddy of mine would stay in there. There's one of the U-Hauls that's parked in the back that they would never lock the back door, and we would stay in there. And I found myself there at about 24 years old, really having no clue how I got there, but no sense that I could ever get out of it. And I'm not exactly sure what part of all that experience, whether it was being at my rock bottom or my family members begging me to stop, or the drug dealers that I was talking to saying maybe I had a problem and not wanting me around, or just the desperation that I felt, or just the grace and the happenstance, or just things lined up. I'm not really sure what contributed to me initially starting my recovery, but I do know that I was introduced to the recovery community itself after having gone through treatment and detox. And so one thing I think that I love that I don't hear too much about within the certain recovery communities and circles is that all of my experiences contributed to where I'm at today, just like all of your experiences have contributed to where you're at today, whether you're in recovery or not. Even the worst of it has led me here. And so I owe everything that I've been through to you. So whether that's through the professionals that have worked with me in the community, or it's the fellows that I have and the sponsor that I had to get where I'm at today, all of that has become a part of my story, and I can't negate or push aside any of that. And I found once I became a part of the recovery community, I found a fellowship and a program that helped me find a new way of living. And I'm up here speaking today as just a general member of recovery. I'm not going to talk about one certain way or another, but I do know that early in my recovery, I was introduced to the Milwaukee Alano Club here. And this is one of the first places that I really got to meet a lot of people from the greater recovery community, not just from like a meeting I was at or the treatment that I had gone to. And it really just opened my eyes and broadened my perspective of what recovery could actually be like. Because I struggled in early recovery. I didn't really want to do some of the things that were suggested to me. I didn't really want to go out and talk to some people. I always kind of felt like I was stuck between a rock and a hard place, and I had some relapses in my experience. And I think I had those relapses because I felt so uncomfortable that I decided to go back to the one thing that I knew would work, even though I knew it would probably be a destructive choice in the end. And one thing that I found is when I found a program of recovery and a fellowship that worked for me and I stuck to it, I found a new sense of power working in my life, something that actually relieved me of the obsession and the desire to use drugs or alcohol. For a guy like me who used to scrape up cigarette butts and all day would only think about how I can get the next one, that's like almost impossible to imagine. And so I'm so grateful for the program of recovery and the life that I found today because of that. And I hope that all of you here, if you are in the recovery community, if you're thinking about it, if you know somebody in it, please connect with each other here. There's so many great resources here. The Alano Club itself has a wide range of recovery communities within it that some are 12-step, some are not 12-step. There's all sorts of stuff going on here, and it was really cool to be able to meet people. And now today, after being, like I said, an active member of the recovery community, sticking and staying and getting to know people, and then trying to be useful and helpful, I know a lot of people in recovery today. And that is a beautiful thing. I get to build new relationships and connections more than I've ever had in my life, even before using. And that's such a cool thing to be a part of, and I'm so grateful for that. And so today, from where I used to be at, where I felt hopeless, and I didn't love my life. In fact, I hated myself, and I had just caused so much harm and damage, and I felt like I was a failure at life. Where I've been brought today through some of the resources in the recovery community and getting involved in a way of life that really worked for me, that for you that could be one thing, for others it could be another. For me it was in 12-step recovery. I love my life today. My girlfriend, my amazing girlfriend, who by the way I'm regularly told that I'm lucky to have, has never seen me use. That's insane. I'm so fortunate to have be able to show up as a brother and a son in a way that I never have been able to before. I was a high school dropout, and because of you guys in the recovery community and the program that we have put together, and all of these resources coming together, I'm now a college graduate. And for me, that was never something that was going to be able to be possible. And I love my life today. As boring and as still like how many mistakes I can make, and whatever comes my way, whatever shows up on the day, I still love living today. And that is the most priceless thing I think any of us could ever be afforded. And trust me, I don't think there's anything special about me. I've met hundreds, if not thousands, of people who have had the same experience when they stay an active member of the recovery community. So if you're in recovery, I hope you stay as well. I hope you continue to stay active. One thing I remember from the very first walk for recovery I was at was 2017. I was a little less than a year sober. Was being able to meet people that I knew nothing about. And I was definitely scared to introduce myself to some people. But this is what this is about. Coming together, connecting. Being able to just be a friend, be a friendly person. So I hope that y'all get to introduce yourselves to some people that you haven't met before. Maybe share a little bit about what recovery works for you. Just get to know somebody and their name, and I can almost guarantee you, if you stay an active member of the recovery community, you'll see them again. And they'll see you again. And you'll get to have relationships and friendships and just connections that you may have never had before. And so that's just a beautiful thing. And so, I'm going to check the time here. We got a decent amount of time. One thing I want to do for sure, I at about 5-6 months sober, just before that first walk for recovery I went to, a friend of mine who had done a lot of work for the Alano Club here, her name is Jackie, she was the cafe manager at the time, asked me, what are you doing on Thursday afternoons? Now, at this time I'm single, so I'm thinking like, I don't know, what am I doing on Thursday afternoons? And she's like, well, would you be interested in volunteering at the counter? Well, are you going to be here? But she said, no, but we could really, we could use someone like you around here, and be helpful. And I didn't really know what I was going to be doing. I'm 5-6 months old, and I'm like, sure, yeah, I could do something like that. And so I had the opportunity to help serve the community that I had just found myself being a part of. And it was a beautiful experience, and I got to serve here on Thursday afternoons for about a year as a counter volunteer. And if anybody's interested in doing that, please see Jamie. By the way, Jamie is the one who's coordinated this year and done a lot of the work. So please can we give a round of applause for Jamie and the hard work that she puts in ongoing for the club. She's the cafe manager, and if you've ever met her, she's just a delight to be around. So thank you for your service. And as someone who's helped coordinate